Episode 25 of the Tool Bags Up Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Sebastian Caballero. We finally have some live sports going on in the world. In case you missed it, Korean baseball is on ESPN, but this weekend we will actually have live sports here in the U.S., of course in the state of Florida, because why wouldn't we? To talk a little bit about it is here Jake Meyer. We are going to talk UFC 249. Jakey, what's going on?
Nothing much, man. How about you?
I'm all right, dude. Just trying to find ways to stay entertained. So, Jake, this is actually a really big deal, right? Because as all the other sports leagues are just struggling to find their way back, getting their seasons underway, the UFC's just come out and said, fuck it, dude. Like, we're going for it. They originally wanted to get this done in April, but they pushed it back to May 9th. Why was it so important for them to get these fights in?
I think the main reason that this had to be done is to keep up the interest with the whole UFC community and, also providing people with entertainment during this time of need. Everyone's just chilling at their house, spending time, on the TV, on the computer, all that. This is a great way to, produce revenue for the UFC as well as entertain the audience. And, UFC, most people aren't really too familiar with UFC. Some people don't watch it as much as other sports. So I feel like this being one of the only sports that are actually on TV, that more people are going to be watching it than ever.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that the other sports leagues are like trying to get back to. They want to be that first league back because they know they're going to be the only thing on TV. So, I mean, very smart for the UFC to try to get on TV here. But the big fight here that was supposed to go down in UFC 249 was Khabib versus Ferguson. That got scratched for a fifth time. What were your thoughts on that?
I'm starting to think that this fight, doesn't want to happen, maybe for another year till 2021. It just seems like everything's going wrong as in terms of these two specific fighters going at it. So it's got something to do with Khabib not being able to travel, and that's just a precautionary thing where he's from. So I'm thinking that it's just kind of a step in the wrong direction as in terms of getting this fight in as soon as possible.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like Ferguson's stopping, right? He's got his fight this weekend as well. There's a lot of I was looking at this card. This is stacked. Like, there's gonna be a stacked Saturday night. Which of these matchups for you stands out?
I like the lightweights. Like, I really like Cejudo Cruz. That'd probably be a favorite for most, UFC fanatics out there. That's one of my favorites, but I actually I just like watching the heavyweights fight, and I think that this is a really good matchup. Ngannou and Rozenstruik. They're, high flyers, landing tough punches. They're probably the two strongest punchers, at least on the card, maybe in, all the heavyweights. So I'm thinking that some sparks are going to fly for this fight.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this lineup card is just stacked from top to bottom. I found it really funny that I saw Greg Hardy in there. I forget that he's part of the UFC now. But right. So real quick, give me your picks for this Saturday. Doesn't have to be all of them. Just the main fights for you that you're most interested in, and then your picks for each of those fights.
All right. So first of all, I think that Ferguson is going to take over. I'd also have to lean towards Cejudo in that Cejudo Cruz fight. I just think that they both got some wrestling experience, except I think Cejudo is the better wrestler. And typically, those who win big fights have a predominant wrestling background. Cejudo's won a gold medal. He's been to the Worlds, been to the Olympics, national champion in college, all that. And another big one, wouldn't say it's a big one, but I think that Greg Hardy's going to pull out a win. I kind of like his fighting style. It's kind of different to see how successful and not necessarily successful, but how success has come to him after transitioning from the NFL to the UFC, and how it kind of translated a little bit. He's really aggressive. He's really strong. Gives him some advantages.
Yeah, no, I mean, the dude's a beast. I mean, we saw his football career. The guy was an animal. And if anything, I feel like the UFC fits him perfectly. So yeah, I mean, definitely interested. The Cejudo fight is the one that just stands out to me. You're obviously on the Cejudo train, so am I. This one is so important, right? Because it's the first sporting event here in the U.S. and it's like if this one is successful, if the guidelines that were established to make sure that everybody's safe, if this is successful, this is key for not only the UFC but also all the other sports. Like, hey, maybe we can start moving forward. So I mean, I'm really excited to see how this weekend goes. Jake, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you coming on, and please stay safe out there, man.
Oh, thank you for having me. Take care, man.
Of course. That was Jake Meyer making his second appearance here in the podcast. His first one was on the live stream for the NFL draft. Jake will be on for the majority of the UFC and football podcasts. He actually had Tommy John surgery, believe it or not, just a week ago. But he came on, did a great job here in the podcast, fed us some really good stuff. But that's going to be all for this one. Don't forget to like and subscribe on all of our platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and our YouTube channel. Until next time, I'm signing off.